I love apples. I don't like to eat the core. However, did you know that without the core, we wouldn't have the apple? In other words, the life of the apple is found in the core. If the apple core is healthy, guess what? The apple is healthy. Did you know that you're not that much different? I mean, what we see of you on the outside is just a shell of who you are. The real you is found in your core. So let's start here. The first thing that you want to accomplish today is to clarify your core values. Your core values are the things that you stand for, the things that God put in you. You see, God planted in each one of us core values, things that drive us, things that we are incredibly passionate about, things that we would actually die for. You know, the stuff that you stand for above anything else. 2 Corinthians 13:8 says it this way, "Our responsibility is never to oppose the truth, but to stand for the truth at all times." There are certain values and truth that you stand for more than others. In other words, you will become known for your core values, the truth that you stand for. Take, for example, certain people in the Bible. I mean, it is clear that they stand for certain things more than anything else. Take Samuel, for example. At the end of his life, he basically said to his friends, "Have I wronged any of you? If so, take a shot at me. Have I done anything wrong?" Samuel unquestionably stood for integrity. Take King David. One of the things he said was that his desire was to dwell in the presence of God. He was known as a man after God's own heart. What did he stand for? What was his core value? Well, it was intimacy with God. David loved to worship. Think about some of the people today. Guys like Billy Graham. What did he stand for? Obviously, he stood for evangelism. He loved to tell people about Jesus. Or what about Mother Teresa? What did she stand for? What were her core values? Definitely compassion. So let me ask you, what are your core values? What is it that drives you? What are you passionate about? What are those things that God has put in your heart? I want to challenge you to prayerfully seek God. Ask yourself 3 specific questions to discover your core values. Make sure you write these down in your workbook. The first question I want you to ask yourself is this: what makes you angry? What makes you angry on God's behalf? Maybe it's fake people. Maybe you can't stand it when people aren't real. So for you, maybe you value authenticity. Maybe you can't stand it when people just do things half-hearted. I mean, you're like, you know what, this is for God, could you please bring your best? Then you probably value excellence. Or maybe it's rude people. You can't stand it when people are rude. So maybe your value is gentleness or kindness. The question is, what makes you angry? The second question that's helpful to uncover your values is this: what brings you joy? I mean, what are those things in your life that you just cannot wait to be a part of? I mean, maybe for you it's helping someone in need, and so you value serving. Or maybe for you it's like, man, that guy got what he deserved and I'm so glad. Maybe you value justice. Or maybe you're just the opposite. Maybe you're like, man, I'm so glad they didn't get what they deserve. You probably value mercy. What is it that brings you joy? And the third question, what does your personal timeline tell you about what you value? We've talked a lot about your timeline, and what I want you to do is look back over it and look for something that's unusual. Look at your good experiences, your bad experiences, and ask yourself, what do these have in common? What are the things that I've learned that point to what I value? The second thing that reveals who you are is your spiritual gifts. Just as God has planted in you certain values, He's also given you certain spiritual gifts. In fact, in Romans 12:6 it says this: "We have different gifts according to the grace that God has given us." Now, these gifts are not like Christmas gifts that we get to keep for ourselves. These are gifts that we're supposed to give away to other people to make the world a better place. Now here's the thing, you're going to take a spiritual gift survey and it's going to help you uncover what your spiritual gifts are. Along with the survey though, there's also a very simple way to determine your gifts. Simply ask yourself this: what are you good at? The answer to that question a lot of times reveals your gifts. Now listen, don't give me that false humility stuff that says, Jeremy, I'm not good at anything. Listen, yes you are. Think about it. Maybe you can dance. Maybe you can sing. Maybe you're a great cook. Maybe you like to encourage people. Maybe you like to serve. Maybe you're funny. The point is, ask yourself, what am I good at? What are the things that come easily to me? Center in on your gifts. You don't have to be good at everything, but God has given you certain gifts and you need to use them to make the world a better place. Will you use your gifts to make a difference? Can you see how your core values and your spiritual gifts help point you towards your Chazown? They help point you in the direction where you can hit God's bullseye for your life. Could you imagine if you go through your entire life and at the end of your life, you stand before a greater judge than someone at the Olympics? You stand before our true judge, our Heavenly Father. And He looks at you and He says, you did some great things, but you missed the target. I gave you gifts, I gave you core values, I gave you those things so that you could fulfill the dream, the Chazown that I have for your life. But sadly, you were aiming at the wrong targets. You missed it. Thankfully, that's not going to be you. You see, as you seek God through His Word, and as you hang out with other followers of Jesus, God is going to reveal your Chazown to you so that you can do exactly what He uniquely created you to do. So that you just won't end up somewhere, but you will end up somewhere on purpose.